Alright guys, Fuller coming to you with another video. We're going to talk some boxing again. Um, I guess, it's kind of like a saga with this whole Canelo Bivol type thing. It's like kind of like a saga. Um, the thing is like if you look at my previous videos, like if you kind of like look in the past, I always said like I rock with Bivol because of his style. He has a certain style about himself that I really rock with a lot. So I've been rocking with Bivol for quite a while. Now the thing is Erislandy Lara, shout outs to the American Dream. He has came out with some comments that are rather surprising, to say the least. Erislandy Lara, the American Dream, he will be fighting next week. Not this weekend, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after this. He will be fighting on the Tank Rolly on the card. I guess his fight is a co-main event on this card. So he's going to fight on that. Now, he said something. He said some things quite interesting in the fight. In the interview, because they were in the Mayweather boxing gym. I guess he was doing a tutorial, shadow boxing and things like that. And yeah, he was doing that. And in doing that, the reporter came, asked him some questions and stuff like that. And he asked him about the Canelo Bivol fight. Lara, he said, it was clear as daylight. Canelo lost the fight, right? He said it was clear that the fight was lost. That, it was clear that, Canelo was outclassed in that fight, right? He said that. Now, when asked about the rematch, however, he said something very interesting that I wasn't expecting from Lara, but it came out. He said, why would you even give Canelo a rematch when you beat him convincingly so much the first time? You beat him very convincingly. So what's the need to give him a rematch when, the first victory was very, very convincing, right? And on top of that, to make it further, to furthermore, to add on to that, he also said that, he basically also said, why risk getting robbed? Why take the chance of getting robbed in that fight, in the rematch? And, these things kind of went into my mind too, because it's like, okay, well, in the first fight, they had it, I don't know what kind of scores they were keeping, I don't know what fight they were watching, but they had the fight, it was like 115 to 113 on all the scorecards, right? And so I was like, yeah, I don't know what fight they were watching, but okay, no problem. I mean, we know how a Canelo fight goes. We know that when it comes to a Canelo fight, you're already down on the scorecards. They're already giving you a head start as it is, right? Or they're giving Canelo a head start as it is, right? So, with that being said, he has a point. He has a very valid point. He has a point that, like, yo, like, you know, beware, you may get robbed. You know, that's pretty much what he's saying. And so, when you really think about it, though, you have to ask yourself: does he really deserve a rematch? Like, do he really? Does he really deserve a rematch? Seeing that, like, the first fight was so one-sided. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. The first fight was very, very one-sided. It was a one-sided fight, you know. I really wouldn't know, like, why they would, like, entertain, like, doing another fight again. You know what I mean? When indeed that fight was pretty one-sided. I mean, if you think that fight wasn't one-sided, then I don't know what fight you were watching. I mean, it's just, I mean, that's just the bottom line. Bivol did a clinic on Canelo. You know what I mean? Like, that's just it. You know, Bivol decided that, hey, you know, I'm gonna put on a clinic, and he did put on a clinic. So I don't think it warrants another fight. You know, I don't think it really needs another thing, another sequel. I can see if the fight was close, you know. I can see if the fight was, like, really close and really, like, razor thin. But my thing is, they darn near robbed Bivol in this fight. You know, like, they really were trying to rob him. And that's why I say, like, man, those judges need to be investigated, because they darn near robbed him in this fight. Right? So, what I'm saying is this. The only reason why we should want a rematch is if Bivol can do something that is daring to be great. Because let's be honest, when, you know, Canelo fans, they say, oh, he's taking risks, oh, you know, he's daring to be great. But let's be honest with ourselves. Bivol was a cherry pick for these Canelo fans. You know what I mean? Like, well, like, Bivol was like a cherry pick for the boxing media as a whole. You know, like, that's what they were hoping. They were hoping that the boxing media as a whole were hoping that, okay, this guy will get past, you know, Bivol, move on to better things, and then we can still hail him as our pound for pound king. Like, that's what the boxing world wanted, okay? That's what Teofimo Lopez wanted. That's what Rolando Romero wanted. That's what you know, that's what all of these guys wanted. But, you know, there was the plans got dampened, and because the plans got dampened, you know, people were upset, people were mad, right? But the thing is, the plans got dampened in such a convincing way that there's no way in hell that you can really say, hey, you know, like, this warrants a rematch. You know, there's really no way, there's no reason for you to say, hey, you know, why don't we do a rematch? You know, because of the simple fact that, like, you know, I mean, this dude was just outboxed, outclassed, outsmarted, out everything, outworked, you know? And of course you have Canelo fans saying that, hey, you know, Canelo is living rent-free in Lara's head, this, that, and the other. But the reality is that, like, he's just telling you how it is. I mean, Lara won the fight against Canelo. I mean, I had that fight 8 rounds to 4 in favor of Lara. You know, I mean, Canelo didn't really do anything very effective in that fight. You know what I mean? But I mean, I really think that Lara kind of has a point. Lara does kind of have like a point in regards to that. Like, he should maybe like think twice about taking a rematch with Canelo. Like, I mean, since Canelo does like catch weights, I mean, I can see that maybe being a possibility, fighting Canelo at a catch weight, for his belts, you know, for his 168 belts. Because I mean, I think Canelo has fought at a catch weight and winning a title as well, so it wouldn't be like the first time that something like that has happened, you know. So with that being said, maybe that may be a good idea for him, is to fight at a catch weight. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to him doing that, fighting at a catch weight. You know what I mean? So, you know, this could be like a good. This could be something that can maybe be arranged, but I really don't think that Bivol is under any obligation to give him a rematch. I mean, usually you have a rematch when the fight is close. That's when you usually have a rematch, when the fight is close. Erislandy Lara deserved a rematch versus Canelo. You know, that fight deserved a rematch. However, he wasn't given the rematch. The fight with Floyd versus Canelo, there was no need for a rematch, although Canelo was calling for a rematch. There's no need for the rematch. I mean, how many rounds did he win in that fight? You know, that's usually the only time you have a rematch, is when the fight is very, very close. That usually warrants a rematch. Like, for example, when Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury the first time, they did a rematch. You know, the second time, you know, Deontay Wilder got stopped. I mean, that didn't really warrant a rematch, but maybe in the contract there was a rematch clause. But honestly, that didn't warrant a rematch. The second fight, you know, Tyson Fury stopped him. No need to fight again. You know, the fight wasn't close. I mean, he got stopped. But they had a trilogy for the fans' sake anyway, which I understand. That's understandable, no problem. But what I'm saying is that, like, these Canelo fans who, you know, think that there needs to be a rematch, I mean, wake up. You know, he got thoroughly done up. That's the thing. It was a thorough whooping. So I don't see why there's a need for a rematch. Okay? But, you know, I think Bivol, being a stand-up dude, he probably will entertain the rematch. You know? But Erislandy Lara, words are right. He has to be careful with getting robbed. And in this fight, if he does do a rematch with Canelo, and especially if he does have 168, he's going to have to stop him. He's going to have to stop him. That's going to have to be the next thing to do. He's going to have to stop that guy in order to get a fair shake. Because if he doesn't stop him, they will rob him. Dead serious. No mix, no lies. But with that being said, I'm off until the next one. Let me know what y'all think of Erislandy Lara comments. I think that they're spot on. he is of the opinion, hey, this dude beat him convincingly, there's no need for a rematch, why even risk, getting robbed? But with that being said, I'm off until the next one, guys. Fuller signing out. Enjoy.